¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Me da mucho gusto saludarlos. Sean todos ustedes bienvenidos a este recinto. En apego a los lineamientos y protocolos oficiales generados por las autoridades, les solicitamos portar el cubrebocas durante todo el evento. Agradecemos la presencia de todos los asistentes, así como también a todas las personas que nos siguen a través de esta transmisión por redes sociales, como lo es Facebook Live y YouTube. Particularmente agradecemos la asistencia por parte de la autoridad de nuestro estado, al licenciado Ernesto Sánchez Proal, secretario de Desarrollo Económico del estado de Jalisco. También nos acompaña el ingeniero Rubén Masay González Ulleda, coordinador del Consejo de Cámaras Industriales de Jalisco. Además, contamos con la presencia de personalidades referentes al mundo tecnológico. Nos acompaña Henry Richard, Senior Global Executive. Steven DiFranco, Senior Global IoT Artificial Intelligence Executive. También nos honra con su presencia Stefan White, Senior Technical Specialist. Nos acompaña Nandini Ramani, Senior Global Tech Executive. Y también muchísimas gracias a Luis Carlos Garza Tamés, director general de Grupo APSA. Sin más preámbulos, damas y caballeros, damos la bienvenida al escenario a Roger Viera, Chairman of the Board de Reflexes Tech. Bienvenido.
Gracias. Welcome. You know, many people are here that have been in my life for a long time, and it's very exciting to do this again, to start a new startup, to start a new company. And not only that, it's a company that's born under the idea that the IoT world and artificial intelligence will change the way we live today. So, and I'm gonna do it in English and Spanglish, so if you don't understand, talk to my wife, she usually understands me. So it's an exciting world that we live today. We live in a world that everything's electronic. We talk to our cell phone more than we talk to our friends, and we chat with each other in a continual amount of generating data. The problem is that lately we don't know what to do with the data. So Reflexes is born to the idea to become the global leader provider of IoT products and solutions for the next generations to come. So with that respect, and we start, we actually have Kevin. Is Kevin online? I'm going to introduce you to our partner, which is Kevin from Analog Devices. Kevin is the Vice President, CVS of PhotoSense of Analog Devices. Kevin, are you online?
I am online, Roger. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Kevin. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And hello, and thank you to you, Roger, and the Reflexes team. I'm very honored to be part of this important event today. As I said, my name is Kevin Carlin. I've been with Analog Devices, or ADI, for 12 years. And in case you're unfamiliar with Analog Devices, we're a leading semiconductor technology and solutions provider, and we've been in business for 55 years now. And we are actually the best at measuring the physical world and then converting it into the digital world, or the digital domain. And those physical measurements could include, vibration measurement, temperature, pressure, acoustic, electric current, much more. Now, if you think about that, that's actually where the data is born. So what do we do with that data? And that's the topic for today. So, we've been in business, as you say, for a long time. We serve more than 125,000 customers worldwide. And with our innovation, we help to solve the most significant problems that our customers face. And we do it across multiple market segments, including automotive, communications, healthcare. But our biggest segment is actually industrial. I've been dedicated to the industrial space for more than 20 years, and today I run the ADI AutoSense business for the company. So what's ADI AutoSense? Well, it's based on a software AI platform, and it takes that data at the edge, and specifically from machines, and uses a unique and sophisticated approach to make the best possible interpretation of that data. Importantly, we allow human domain experts in their field to use this AI platform and interact with it and improve it. And they don't need any AI or data science expertise to be able to use it. One of the main solutions that we have is dedicated to electric motors. And in fact, we have the most capable and advanced platform to offer the market. And we've developed that and acquired world-class motor domain expertise in the process, and we offer a rich user experience. Today, we're very proud to support Reflexes as they launch their platform, and it's been a great collaboration so far. We're really looking forward to supporting Reflexes as you roll this out and continue to offer higher value services to your customers. And we're both equally excited about this opportunity to bring additional capabilities, but also through future product enhancements in both the hardware and the software, and with a broader portfolio of solutions for all other types of machines. This isn't only limited to predictive maintenance and asset uptime, but also for quality control improvements on asset production line. Okay, so with that, it's been a real privilege to be able to talk with you today. Thanks again, Reflexes. Congratulations on this important occasion. I'll hand you back to Roger now, and please enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you.
Kevin, thank you very much, and I'm hope that we meet soon in Boston and we go have a great time. Thank you very much
Looking forward to it.
helping us, and thank you very much. Before I continue the event, I'd like to make a special thank you to people that were behind Reflexes, and they help us put this together. I know it's live Silvio, Pete, and Emil, and Kevin, who have worked together for more than a year and a half, no? Right, Kevin? And making sure we happen and we get the right products and we get the right technology. So I know you guys are in Spain, and for COVID regulations, they couldn't travel, but live, I can say thank you very much, Emil, Pete, and Silvio. Gracias por todo tu apoyo. Kevin, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great time. Thank you very much.
Now, I know that I change the rules when I speak, and I tend to do things different than I'm supposed to. And I want to introduce you to another speaker. He's probably the person who's going to help me take Reflexes to another world. And I like to give the microphone back to now Steven DeFranco, who's here. Even with his wife, he's very mad at him because she's not coming with him. So I'd like to welcome you to talk to us about what you think about the product and how we can help our customers realize a different world, and how we can have this protective gadget make sense of the world.
Good morning, and yes, my wife is very upset she's not here with me. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to pop a slide up for you and give you a little bit background on two topics. One is, what is IoT and where are we today in industrial IoT? And second of all, what is AI? What do these two things have to do with each other? Because it's very important to understand the connection between connecting devices and using artificial intelligence to understand the data. Now, next slide, please. Oh, I have all this technology and we still press buttons. So one of the most fascinating things about IoT is it started in our home. It really started when we started connecting devices using Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and you started to have small things connected. And we thought that was really fascinating. And then people started saying, what if we connect machinery? What if we could grab information in an industrial plant, like a manufacturing center, off of machines? What if we connected them and then started analyzing the data? What was interesting now is that there are 20 billion devices now connected to the internet. 20 billion, not besides your cell phones, besides your home routers. There are 20 billion other things that are now connected to the internet, according to Cisco. Those 20 billion things are now devices that we can collect data from. And what's most interesting is the majority of the things that are going to be connected in the industrial world are going to be in the manufacturing space. And the reason for that is the most valuable and important data is how machines work, how to optimize them, and how to predict when they may fail. The second industry that will follow after that, by the way, is healthcare. So the two industries that will be the dominant players in IoT and industrial IoT will be manufacturing and health. Cool. Now, there was a couple of reasons for that. The average hospital has 10,000 devices in it. Heart pumps, monitors, blood pressure machines. 10,000 devices. What's very interesting is the average hospital today has a 30% overcapacity of hardware. They buy a third more of these things than they need because they can't find them. They're on the wrong floor, they're in the wrong room, and one of the reasons that we need to connect them is not just to get the data, but to find out where they are. In manufacturing, we have the average maintenance piece of manufacturing is predicted to use the same maintenance model for a motor, no matter where that motor is, no matter how often that motor runs, no matter what condition the motor is in. Yet, every single motor is actually living and existing in a different place. So if we can connect those, we can learn from them when they need predictive maintenance, how to operate them more efficiently. Now, everybody thinks IoT is connecting things, and that's all you need to do. But actually, there's another part of this, which is what we're going to spend a lot of time talking about today. And that's the artificial intelligence part. So if you think about it, the world kind of exists like this. There's this data collection idea. That's IoT. That's the Internet of Things. That's connecting things to the Internet. Next is we then have to go and take a look at that data. And the way we look at that data is called inference. So in the AI world, what really happens is we have to sense something. You may notice that ADI's software platform is called AutoSense. We have to sense something, and then we have to infer what that means. So what actually is occurring in the AI world is that models get created, little algorithms that say, something should work just like this. And then we sense it through the IoT network and determine if it's actually working like that or not. Now, if you look at the same model machine, and you look at it over hundreds and hundreds of those machines, you can start to take models and build models, AI models, that will give you predictive information that if something changes in the machine, that could be an indication of that machine failing in the future, so you can resolve that problem in advance. Could be an indication that that machine does not need to be fixed, or does not need to be resolved and can run longer than it's actually supposed to, which can save you additional money. The value of AI is in providing a greater sense of information by inferring from the machine so that you can make better business decisions in your factories, in your warehouses, and in your supply chain. Now, we've got a long way to go. When I started in IoT, and I told people that I thought there'd be 20 or 40 billion units connected sometime by 2025, everybody thought I was crazy. Everybody thought I was nuts. And we published that data out, and we got a lot of criticism for it, and it turned out we were right. In fact, there were more devices connected faster than IoT Advisory Group suggested. We think AI will become a dominant use case in industrial manufacturing. We think AI models will help manufacturers in factories and automation processes and robotic centers operate more efficiently and more predictably. And we think that's going to happen very fast. We think over the next 10 years, the predominant technology that will exist inside manufacturing, the most important issue that manufacturers will be dealing with, will be how to AI enable their factory. I hope that was a help. It's a little primer. The next speakers will give you a lot more detail. Thank you for coming today, and Roger, always thank you very much for your support and friendship.
No, thank you. Now, our next speaker, we have history together. We met in Istanbul, 10 years ago? 11? You know, I wanted to be this Endeavor super top guy, global Endeavor, and I basically didn't have a good business case to be an Endeavor Global, which I won. But Stefan helped. 2 bottles of tequila helped at the bar. And since then, we have maintained a friendship that is incredible. We meet quite often. He's an incredible investor and entrepreneur. He was one of the guys who worked for Microsoft for many years until he says, I'm doing my own thing. He's a person that he shares knowledge. He got me into Tech Talks, Tech Week. We went to Cuba together, remember? And he has the knowledge that today we need to continue to build more products for the future. So, Stefan, thanks for coming. I know that we got you from San Miguel Allende from vacation, but we'll have enough tequila today for you to enjoy.
It'll be fine. Oh, I got over it. I got over it. Oh, what, do that now? Exactly, do
The
that now.
COVID thing.
Yeah, we take off my name
The
tag,
key
but it's
principle
wrapped
of
around
lean
my
startup
headset.
methodology
That's
is
not
pretty,
how.
actually pretty simple. You start with a big, bold
Oh, that's
vision.
neat.
You then build a product, which actually you're able to test against that vision using real-world data and customer feedback. And then you decide whether to persevere or go forward or pivot, meaning you change the direction and try something different. That's really all it is. It's a way to accelerate testing of ideas in an environment that you don't control.
My gosh. That's an old video. That was in Argentina, I think, at some TED event I was speaking at years ago, where I was so sick that, if you know TED, you can't use devices, but I was so sick, my brain was not working, I had to use a device. Today, my excuse is I just didn't write this in time. So here's the thing. So as Roger said, I've known him for so many years, and when he called me about Reflexes, I was so excited. Because to me, my entire life has been about data and collecting data and making use of data. Because we know data is the lifeblood of our economy. It drives everything. Which is why when he came to me, I was so excited. And I was excited not because of just the fact that these devices, these sensors can create all this new data. I was excited because I had just finished watching Back to the Future with my daughter. She hadn't seen it. But I love Back to the Future. And when Roger talked about Reflexes to me, it made me think Reflexes today might just be not just, but is a sensor company on motors. But tomorrow, Reflexes will be designing and creating the data required to literally predict the future. And that's Reflexes' long-term ambition, long-term goal, is to be this company which can literally predict the future and create a better future for all of us. I can remember at Microsoft years and years ago, when we were doing the Bing search engine, we were, I think, the first major company to get Twitter's fire hose. And Nandini is here, who was at Twitter. I'm not sure back then or not, but the fire hose was miraculous because it was literally Twitter's real-time feed coming out of Twitter into our data centers at Microsoft. So everything that happened on Twitter, with the exception of direct messages, everything that happened, we literally got in real time. And that was really exciting because it allowed us to create extraordinarily detailed models to attempt to do what I just said, predict the future based on data. The most exciting and fun reason that I've loved about getting the fire hose was that we beat Google to it. And backstage at TechCrunch, where we announced this, Marissa Meyer, who we were always competing with, was just so pissed. So it was fun for me to actually beat Google right there. But besides that, it was great. We also did a deal with Foursquare, which is location data, and Facebook, which of course is more social media data. And the combination of all these data sources gave us really interesting insight into the world at large. In fact, I can remember one of the first things we did was hook up all these sources and try to figure out what was happening in the world in real time. And about that time, there was a shooting at LAX airport in California, and we were actually able to detect that was happening long before any police, before any law enforcement, before any media knew, because we had all this data and all the models we had built to detect events like this happening right then. And that's not future looking, that's still past looking. So we then dug a little further into it, and at MS Research, a guy named Dr. Eric Horvitz, who's phenomenal, used the Twitter fire hose and all the other data to build some very sophisticated models, two of which I'll tell you about. The first was we were able to figure out with a pretty high level of accuracy that a woman who was pregnant was going to have postpartum depression after she gave birth. And we could do that simply by looking at her social media posts leading up to her delivery time. We had 80+% accuracy. We could detect that someone was going to be depressed post-birth just looking at her data. Similarly, we could actually inform emergency rooms across the country when they were going to have an influx of people with heart conditions or heart angina by looking at social media. We could detect what was happening and say, Kentucky, this Louisville right here, tonight you're going to have more people come to the ER with heart conditions than normal. Again, all looking at data and using artificial intelligence and predictive models to leverage this data and turn it into information, which was so exciting. And that's where Reflexes can be, I think, long term. Today, your sensors, you're creating data, but longer term, this ability to either create models or partner with amazing companies like we've seen to use these models to do great things in the industrial space will be paramount. One more thing, a friend of mine named Brad Keywell has a company called Uptake, and this is their entire business, frankly, taking all these data points and creating very sophisticated models for companies like BNSF, which is a railway, or Boeing, which makes the airplanes, to ensure that they can predict when something's going to fail before it happens. In fact, BNSF was interesting because they could have their big locomotives and they could be trucking along the railway, and the engineer would get an alert saying, you need to pull into this depot and have this thing fixed right now. And the engineer would say, but it's fine. But it wasn't going to be fine in about 5 more miles. And so they could actually detect these things before they happened and fix them before they happened and literally have a better outcome for all. And as we move into this world of COVID where we can't afford people going out where they shouldn't belong or people wasting time or companies wasting money, fixing things after they break, if we can apply small changes before these things go wrong and really optimize the headcount, optimize the risk that we take with people, that will be the long-term success for both Reflexes, the IoT industry, and the AI industry as a whole. And I can't wait to see what Roger and team do to make this thing this massive success space. So thanks.
Thank you very much. Wow. See? Relax. We're going to do good. My next speaker, God, we met in a funny event. Henry is a person we all should admire. He's not only an incredible sales and marketing vice president for many large corporations, but he also an incredible race car driver. I had the ability to spend time with him racing and time with him when he drives the car. But not only that, he's an incredible cook. He has 80,000 recipes in Facebook about everything he cooks every day. And every time you open Facebook, you go, whoa. So Henry is somebody that my heart is with him, and he's somebody that has the knowledge and the experience on how to make products like Reflexes go beyond the world and beyond the markets across the world. So I'd like to welcome Henry to the stage, but we have a little video that we actually put for you too. Go ahead, video.
Well, yeah, as long as we're not live, I can tell you this was the last pit stop. Okay. Brian's doing a phenomenal job. You know, we're a little nervous because the car 90 switched to slicks early on. Turned out it was probably not a good bet.
Okay. Thank you for this introduction. And thank you for the opportunity to come to Guadalajara again. I got to tell you, like many of the people that live in Silicon Valley, I have been in shelter-in-place hard since January, and this is the first time that I left my home. I barely remember how to shave, and I was sharing with my friends that the most difficult part of the journey was to learn how to take off flip-flops and put back normal shoes. So, but anyhow, I'm very happy to be here, and I've been in the high-tech industry as a sales and marketing executive my entire career over the last 40 years, and I just recently retired. And now I'm advising companies on their go-to-market strategies. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit about why the creation of Reflexes is extraordinarily astute in terms of time to market because of the crisis. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the impact of COVID. It's an understatement to say that this particular pandemic has changed the perception and the business models across the entire world, across every industry, across every society. And particularly, it is changing the rules on how we engage with customers. I can tell you that I have a principle, which is try to never waste a good crisis. Because it's in time of crisis that great companies find ways to differentiate their response to the crisis and come out of the crisis ahead of their competition. And what's happening right now is because a few of the perceptions or beliefs in terms of go-to-market have been shattered by the COVID crisis, that a deep level of transformation is taking place. And you're going to see how it's relevant to Reflexes. The reality is that for many, many moons, we had a perception that hard, complex transactions, particularly in the business-to-business environment, had to be conducted in person. And then suddenly you cannot be in front of your customer. You cannot go do the round of golf or the dinner. And you still have to conduct business. And so this change, where you had to move from maybe 80% of the contact with customers being in person and 20% being either self-service or remote, was really inverted. There are many, many companies today that are thinking about a model, regardless of whether we get a vaccine and we can start to see people again, where they can conduct their business 80% remote and only 20% in person. And the other thing that's changing is when they're going to put people in front of customers, they're going to want to have the best possible team in front of that customer, not the team that is locally available. And so there's profound changes to that. Reflexes is going to take advantage of this transformation because, to the point that was just made by the previous speaker, it is going to be increasingly important for companies to divert some of the savings that are coming from the transformation of go-to-market into making better products and different engagement experiences with their customers. A lot of the budgets that were in go-to-market are going into products that are easier to deploy, easier to maintain, and where the customers can have a set of information that allows them to operate without the intervention of their vendor. COVID has been an accelerator of something that we all knew was coming, because we suddenly realized that because of status quo, because of our inherent human desire to avoid change, frankly, change was necessary. So when Roger talked to me about the creation of this new company and what he was trying to do, I thought, this is really timely. There's going to be an incredible amount of opportunities as corporations around the world are going to look at this different and more distant engagement, but not at the expense of the customer experience. To the contrary, you're going to see a lot more focus on people making things, making products, on ensuring that these products deliver the best possible experience with the minimum amount of intervention, in particular, the minimum amount of in-person intervention. There is also another factor that got accelerated by COVID, which is the cloud. You realize that the flexibility, the scalability that cloud-based solution was providing was definitely a competitive advantage in an environment where you may not be able to leverage your own premises assets as much as you used to. And so the fact that Reflexes is both enabling this ability for products to get better and customers to be more independent in addressing their challenges, but also leveraging a cloud-based technology, makes it an extremely relevant new enterprises. And I'm going to be looking forward to helping Roger in making sure that as we come out of this crisis, because eventually we will, we are best positioned to take advantage of those vectors of growth that has been created by the crisis. Now, I'd like to finish by talking a little bit about my friend Roger. You know, Roger, to me, has three passions. The first one is the passion for business, for innovation. There is never a time where you meet with Roger where he doesn't have a new idea that he wants to bring to market. The second passion of Roger is his family and his friends. It is someone that has this uncanny ability to stay in touch with people. I don't know how you do it. You must have 48 hours a day because you stay in touch with so many people at the same time. And it's not a process. It comes from the heart. And then lastly, and very importantly, it's someone that has an incredible passion for this country. He's really proud of being Mexican, and he's representing this country, I can tell you, when he travels around the world and he speaks at events in a magnificent way. So for all of this, Roger, and for giving all of us the opportunity to be with you here today, a great thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ahora invito al escenario a alguien que, aunque competimos en el pasado, hoy en día es nuestro secretario de Economía y es un súper secretario. Yo sé que los tiempos económicos, ingeniero Ernesto, son difíciles para lo que te gustaría hacer. Y te pido que nos acompañes y nos des unas palabras aparte de lo que está haciendo la Secretaría de Promoción Económica y tu visión de lo que tú ves en el futuro para este estado y para este país. Por favor, Ernesto Sánchez Proal, ingeniero Ernesto Sánchez Proal, por favor.
English or Spanish?
Whatever. Spanglish.
That's better. So thanks a lot, Roger, for inviting me to this event. And I'm glad that you introduced me as an engineer because initially they said that I was a lawyer, and that's an important difference. And I'm actually an electronics engineer. And being an electronics engineer, I am able to appreciate what you guys are doing now with Reflexes. When this adventure of becoming the Silicon Valley of Mexico started here in Jalisco about 40 years ago, first with the opening of a plant from Kodak, then IBM, HP, and then in the 90s, all sorts of contract manufacturers. We thought that we may only stop being just a maquiladora state. But no, after that, we started to do developing of technology, hardware, software. We started to get big firms like Intel, Oracle, starting operations here, taking advantage of the talent of the people here. And then a positive feedback loop started to happen within universities, the government, and the industry. And this evolution is taking now us to have even risk capital, venture capital available here in the state to support these companies. And now very interesting evolutions, such as this company that is focused not only in the Internet of Things, but also in the algorithms of artificial intelligence to process that information and then produce useful data. In this case of preventive maintenance of engines, but also as was explained before by some of your friends, to be able to apply that to other sectors such as health. So we are in the government of Jalisco very tightly focused on promoting this type of development, of bringing companies or starting companies here, such as Reflex. And I talk also about starting companies because, Roger, as you have done, I have also started technology companies with mixed results, but you know, you need to have some scars of war to become a better entrepreneur. And now inside the state government, I have the mission of developing even more this type of environment and this type of industry to become a real Silicon Valley of Mexico, Latin America, a real Silicon Valley South. So congratulations from the state government, from myself. I am very happy to know that you are doing this and you have our support. Thank you very much.
Now, story. We met in San Francisco. I like to bring to the stage a person that I admire, that we have a great time together, and he's owner of one of the largest distributors of electronics and electric components uh, in Mexico, that has two incredible sons who are going to run the business, and they're going to give us time so we can play golf, right? So, Luis Carlos Garza Tamés, presidente y CEO de ABSA, por favor, pasa. Pero ya que nos den presupuesto para jugar golf todo el día, ¿no?
Bueno, muchísimas gracias. Yo lo voy a hacer en español. Y el tema es el siguiente. La verdad es que estoy extremadamente emocionado el ser parte de esta historia, el que en un momento determinado se pueda desarrollar aplicaciones de IoT en México, concretamente en Jalisco, Guadalajara. La verdad es que suena verdaderamente increíble. Como los expositores anteriores han comentado, es ya ahorita el tema de Internet de las Cosas, el Big Data, inteligencia artificial, etcétera, viene a contribuir de una forma muy eficiente para las industrias, que es el mercado donde nos movemos actualmente nosotros como ABSA, como tal. Entonces, el poder ayudar a que las empresas puedan predecir con anticipación lo suficiente para dar mantenimiento a sus motores, para dar mantenimiento a toda su área de motriz como tal, suena genial. Y el poder transmitir todos esos beneficios con nuestros clientes y que nosotros hayamos sido designados como distribuidores autorizados de Reflexes Stage como distribuidor autorizado. Muchísimas gracias, Roger. Y bueno, a final de cuentas, comparto también algo que comentaba hace rato Henry, era la pasión por México, que es la que tiene aquí Roger. El hecho de que también en México podemos producir y distribuir productos de calidad mundial que en la primera oportunidad vamos a exportarlos al resto parte del mundo. Entonces, muchísimas gracias. Gracias por el apoyo.
Y ahora, para todos los que vinieron de fuera y para todos los que están en estos temas de COVID, les agradezco y ahora les presento Reflexes.
Evolution goes hand in hand with innovation. How can technology improve our lives? How can we have a clear vision of the future that is accurate and precise? We are Reflexes Tech, a global company that can't stop thinking about improving business, working on AI projects for everyone. At Reflexes Tech, we work hard in the development of predictive IoT technology solutions for electric motors that provide continuity to this industry. The result? A great one that will make the maintenance of many companies never stop. Welcome to the era of Reflexes Motor Sensor, RMS. What is it? A productivity gadget. The RMS is a maintenance device for electric motors that is very easy to install. Why predictive? Because it anticipates the future. We take this word seriously. The key to its operation lies in the measurement of variables that can be monitored by the user. All that information is interpreted to assess whether or not a system needs maintenance. How does this new state-of-the-art engineering piece help us? It helps us detect problems in the power supply, stator winding problems, engine imbalance, condition of bearings, overload, among other things. Our technology partner, AutoSense, developed our RMS app solution that integrated state-of-the-art algorithms that simplify its use. It is simple, intuitive, and the AI-based learning system requires only a few engine features to run automatically. Reflexes motor sensor app allows you real-time monitoring of engine performance, sharing information with different users, and displaying the information according to location, plant, and process. After the sensor setup, the app will send real-time notifications when engine failures are detected, telling you how and when to repair them. The benefits are incredible, such as monitoring every 30 minutes that results in the management of immediate information. That's artificial intelligence at your service. Design is important. Its platform is very visual and shows us all the warnings detected by the universal sensor. That's how innovation looks like. The RMS then becomes your best ally. When did you get so much information about the soul of your company? Never until today, with the Motor Sensor Reflexes app.
In everything we touch, we challenge today's standards. We create a different way of monitoring companies and their production systems with easy-to-use IoT gadgets for today's environment. We simply make artificial intelligence sensor-based solutions so companies don't stop working. Señores, les presento Reflexes. Gracias. Y ahora, a los que nos siguen por Facebook Live en YouTube, les agradezco. Agradezco la presencia de Masai, que es uno de mis grandes admiradores del Consejo de Cámaras Industriales. Y a todos los que vinieron de fuera, a belito.com, mi querido amigo, a toda mi familia y especialmente a mi esposa, que se echó el evento completo. Entonces, señores, cortamos transmisión y los invito a que tomemos un brindis. Buenos días.